Hi, I'm Greg of the Real G-Pops Workshop. This is where I build things and I fix stuff. So in today's video, I didn't build it, but I did fix it. A friend dropped something off, told me to take a look at it. It was a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but hey, if you know me, you know I'll try anything. So sit back, relax as I fix my friend's coffee table. I was recently asked to take a look at a friend's coffee table. Normally I don't work with friends, it's just better that way. But I made a rare exception because I needed some help. And this is actually a wood top, so I figured we could do a little something with it. It has some chipping, some staining, it needs to be smoothed out to live the full life, but it's actually in pretty good shape. The paint needs a little refresh, but nothing too hard for us to take care of. I have some help in the shop this week, so we're gonna take advantage of that, and I'm going to break this down and get started. But first, let's take a closer look to see what we've actually gotten ourselves into. So, I see a little water staining, some scratches, some nicks, some dents. Just day-to-day life. But then there's that. Oh yeah, and this guy. I don't know about him. See a gap. Is that a bow on the top? So the first thing we are going to do is flip this puppy over and see what she's made of. And like we did it with the top, let's see what the bottom is made of. Those apron hold downs don't look very substantial. May have to figure something out. But anyway, I'm scheduled for vacation already, so I'm gonna let gravity work for me while I'm gone. I'm gonna put some weights on this, clamp it down to the workbench, and put it out of my mind for about a week or so. Doing this by day. By night. Good thing I came back nice and refreshed. Let's see if gravity was working for me while I was gone. Let's get this unpacked. I don't have any great expectations. Let's see. Yep, it's still there. And once you get this broken down, you realize there's not a whole lot to it. 4 identical legs, 4 identical apron pieces, 4 leg attachments, and some hold downs to the top. If you take the hold downs out, there's only 13 parts. And just like that, we have it broken down into its smallest parts. A bit of a cup in the top, and that comes from I saw that it was loose when it arrived. But primarily we're going to take a look at the chipping and get this top basically reconditioned. Let's see what we can do now. We got these parts broken down. I'm going to get this cleaned up, see what we need to refresh on these pieces, and take her from there. In this state, it almost looks doable. It's not much to it. But then there's this. I think at this point, I seriously considered putting it back together, putting it in the car, and dropping it off. But I couldn't do that. I'm gonna see it through. Yeah, there's that. And that. But we might as well get started. Let's get a little prep work out of the way. Time to get down to business. fill the chips and cracks in this, I'm going to use this Bondo brand wood filler. I've never used it before. I'm not endorsed by them. I just had read some good reviews on it, and it seemed like it will get the job done that I need done for these chips in these 2 spots and a couple other little places as well. So let's give her again, Bondo brand wood filler. Instructions seem pretty straightforward. I'm going to separate these 2 packs. We have the wood filler itself, and we have hardener. And we're going to mix those together. The area has already been cleaned and prepped. And the working time on this is only about 3 to 4 minutes upon mixing. So we're going to get it mixed up and quick as we can get it into place. Just making sure I get the majority of the product out. You can do this however you see fit. You get the cream hardener out. And now we need to do a thorough job of mixing the 2. Seems to be mixed pretty good. I attached some wood to give me a bottom to squeeze into, because these chips do actually round the corner. We want to be able to shape and fill, and then make sure we have plenty tucked in along the bottom. We're going to just level this off. About a little mixing time, I'm going to come back to this. We're going to just make sure we have plenty of product so we can sand it down to the correct shape. And ladies and gentlemen, 3 to 4 minutes means 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, at this point, now we're going to let this cure for at least 30 minutes and repeat if necessary. While that was curing, I figured I'd clean up some of the other parts. You have to touch everything on this build, no matter how small or insignificant you think it may be, because it's not. At this point, it's looking pretty rough, as it should. We're going to shape it up and get it back into working order. This is the initial pass. We're going to hit it again with the second coat. Filled in the majority of the divots at this point, and we are going to continue to shape and sand. To be continued. Okay, so here we go for round 2. First round turned out pretty well. We have some small gaps, which is why they give you 2 packets to finish the job. We're going to take advantage of that. Get the product out. Get the hardener out. And this has a very, very, very quick use time, 3 to 4 minutes. I lean toward 3 based on my most recent experience. So let's get it mixed up quickly, thoroughly, and proceed. Looking for a consistent color, nice creaminess to it, and the texture. Thoroughly mixed. Now let's go. We want to put it on a little thick again so that we can sand it down and still have plenty of mix where we need it. And there we are. As we wait for the second round to cure, Now is the perfect time to clean up the apron pieces. We have to touch every aspect of this table, and these are no different. As you can see, they too need to be cleaned up, refreshed, and made to look new like the rest of the table. So we're just going to dust them off, put a little protection on them, and put them back at home. Okay, now we're ready for a second round of sanding by hand. If it sounds like I'm hanging out with Darth Vader, it's because I have a mask on. At this point, our biggest concern is shaping to the original contours. So slow as we go. And now with that pretty much shaped up, we're going to sand the finish off so we can get to the meat of the matter. We all know sanding is a necessary evil nonetheless. So I'm going to get us through this as quickly as possible. But it needs to be seen. These parts came out very nice. But I also saved you a little bit and did it very quickly. You're welcome. At this point, all the parts have been touched. Everything looks fresh and clean. The top looks clean, but it still has a bow in it. Yeah, that guy. So to combat the bow in the table, I'm going to take 2 pieces of red oak and I'm going to attach them to the bottom. I'm going to flatten it out with some clamps, some hold downs, and glue and screw red oak across the underside of the base to help keep that bow out of the tabletop. At this point, I'm going to determine where I'm going to have my screws countersunk. And I've already measured where it needs to be on both sides, one on that side, the other one on this side. So we're going to countersink some holes in that and get that guy attached. I'm going to use this device to determine the center of my red oak and draw a line so that my screw hits in the center where I need it to be. These come in handy when you have a narrow space and you don't want to split it. So yeah, so this gives you a line right down the center of the wood, and we're gonna line it up with the marks I just put on there and get those holes center countersunk in there. Now that I have one hole drilled, I'm gonna use this to get a center pin going. Double check my measurements, make sure it didn't move on me. And of course, it did not. So now we are going to countersink the remaining holes. Now I'm gonna drill into the table just to get a pilot hole. And then I'm gonna take this loose, or take this apart, and put some glue under this. So now we are going to disassemble. I'm gonna put some screws in place. So I'm gonna take these screws, I'm gonna take the center screw and have it poke through just a bit. And that's so that I can find my initial pilot hole. And then I'm gonna take the screw on the end and do the same thing, because once they line up, the rest will follow. Yeah, so as a test, that's gonna line up perfectly. I'm gonna put some glue on here and we are gonna hunker down. Love that little thing. Patented glue spreader. Make sure we get it all the way down to the end. Around the screw. Nice even coat. And I'll wipe up any squeeze out. So then we'll locate our center hole. We'll pivot, that drops into place. Get a little glue off my finger. Screw one. Screw two. And we will repeat on the other side. For the underside of the table, I'm using this regenerating oil. It's a one-step finish. It should be perfect for the underside. This is not what's gonna be on the top, but it's gonna just clean up this bottom now that we have it straight. It's been sanded, definitely better than when it came in. So we're gonna just take some time and speed this up and get this on the bottom here. So while we are waiting for the bottom of the table to dry so that we can wipe off all the excess, we're gonna put some rejuvenating oil on the other components that will be under and along the side of the table as well, so that they'll all match up. Since we are working on the bottom of the table, I decided to upgrade. Initially, these pieces were attached to the side, securing them to the table. I didn't really care for them. I grabbed some red oak, made some larger, more substantial hold downs, and I'll place these on these parts, put them on the bottom side. Sometimes the infrastructure is more important than the parts that you do see. So I thought this would be a keen upgrade. So we're gonna sand these and get these ready to be attached. And for those of you that were wondering, the reason I'm sanding them is I was taking off the pencil marks I put on there because they needed to go. And it was time for the other small parts to get their fair share. The apron parts needed to be finished. There were some chips in the legs that needed to be taken care of, some sanding, some staining. We needed to get back the original patina that came from the manufacturer and touch up the paint. We're getting close to the end. It's coming out very well so far. It should pull together nicely. The only big ticket item left is the top. And now it's time. Now that it's flattened, sanded, and smooth, it's time for some fresh stain and a fresh finish. It's come a long way. That grain looks so much better now. It took a couple of coats of stain, but we finally reached our desired color.
A few moments later.
Then it was time to assemble. It's nice and straight, nice and tight. Those red oak blocks came in very handy. Put a little poly on the top. It's the final touch. But don't forget where you came from. Remember the water stains, the nicks, the scratches, the bruises. All of that has been worked out. And it was well worth it. Now with a new lease on life, many more years of use to come. So, thank you for making it this far. I appreciate your viewership and I want to thank you for that. So that actually turned out pretty well for me. I had never worked on a coffee table. I'm not a furniture maker. Don't claim to be, but I will try to fix anything that is brought to me. So, hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.